Here we are. This is not a test. This is not a flashback. This is real time. And yes, folks, I am standing in our empty boat. Again. You heard it right. We are ripping out everything from our little sailboat for a long-awaited transformation. But hold on to your hats because it's not going to be your run-of-the-mill renovation. Nope, we've got some thoughts and opinions on this whole process, and we're going to let you know all the details. This is Luke, and I'm Lori, and together we're on a mission to turn our 34-foot sailboat from a rusty sinking ship into our very own floating paradise. It's a labor of love, a journey of sweat and tears, and plenty of elbow grease. But hey, there's no adventure quite like a boat restoration, are we right? So if you're excited to see what our sailboat interior is gonna look like in the end, subscribe to our channel, like this video, and ring that bell. It's a totally free way to keep the journey alive. Where I am right now. And before I get to that, I want to tell you why we've done this insanity, and I want to break down the process for you as well. So let's get to it. Now, I really want to tell you where I am and why I'm surrounded by our interior that's not in the boat. But first, a lot of you have been asking, why haven't we sealed the wood? Do we plan on sealing it? Why are these edges exposed? Are you going to paint it? What kind of wood is this? Is it going to stand up in a wet environment? So I want to answer all of those questions first. Let's start with the kind of wood that we're using, and this is a marine grade plywood. That means the glue that is used to fasten each layer together is actually made from a waterproof glue, making this one of the highest quality plywoods that you could buy in the market. It also has a certain level of waterproof to it because of this glue. Now, that doesn't go without saying that it should be sealed, and that is exactly what we are doing now. We are also tackling all of these edges on the furniture that you've seen with all this exposed wood, and I want to walk you through all of that process. Now, if you're here for a how-to paint your boat, this is exactly what we're going to do too. We're going to leave up some little screens where all the information of how we did it, how long we did it, what we used is going to be visible, and you can pause anytime you want to see how that is. If not, let's roll through. I want to bring you on our journey. I want to bring you on the insanity of us ripping everything out of our boat. And yeah, what does that mean for us mentally? First off, I do not recommend this process. I do not recommend necessarily doing it the way we're doing it right now. This is the style that this company introduced to us, and we started on this process with them, so we're kind of finishing it in that way. They are used to creating production boats, meaning they are creating many different boats in the same format. If they have a 50-foot boat, they are creating several 50-foot boats. They actually create the pieces completely finalized in the workshop, and then when the boat sees it for the first time, it is done, and they just fit it into the boat. Now for us, obviously, that did not work out. We tried this format and it was a complete failure, and we ended up going in and fitting each and every piece specifically. So that means we have to take all the pieces out and seal them and paint them now. Now, what do I mean by don't do it this way? Do it a different way. The other way we recommend is if you do it by sections. So if you have like from one part of the bulkhead to another, or like just the V-berth, or just the head, or just the galley, what you want to do is finalize those pieces, seal them, paint them, laminate them. Even there's a lot of things that you can do in place. I would recommend doing that, because this whole process has been mind-blowingly nerve-wracking. For us, taking everything out means the risk of putting anything back in and it not going right is immense. If we didn't have Sergio here to help us through this process, I'm not even sure we would want to even do it, because it is a horrifying prospect to take all the hard work we did out. And we're just kind of going with the flow because that's how it started out. So we're not even going to think about it. Let's get to it. I want to show you all of the insanity. I want to show you how we did it. And like I said, that is not even the wildest part. You're just going to have to hang into the end, because I really want you to know. I want you to know what's happening here. And you will. And maybe you will drop your jaw as much as we did. Buckle up, folks. It's gonna be a wild one. All right, let's get going and start prepping our wood, because there's a lot of things we have to do before we can actually get to painting. First and foremost, let's start with laminating and edge banding. Edge banding just being the edge of the plywood that has that coarse texture and where you can see all the laminates. That's really important to be covered up, even if the piece is going to be painted, because that texture is going to show through regardless if you put putty on it or not. And also large sections like this section right here that is going to be exposed and you're going to be able to see it within the cabin. So we're gonna have to apply our pau ferro veneer there so it blends all in visually. Now there are some sections like these little tiny holes that were kind of impossible to apply the edge band to. That's when we resorted to using our wood putty, and you know how I feel about the wood putty. So we just threw it on here. I had already filled in a lot of the holes or scratches or dents, or let's say where the screw holes are in most of the pieces, but this is really the refining moment to make sure that anything that we might have missed is filled in and perfect. Now this is the moment where you break out your sander and you never ever put it away, because every step of this process involves sanding, it involves smoothing. Just when you think you're done and you think you covered all the holes, you'll end up throwing another coat of paint and you'll figure out that you need to sand yet again. We want to give a super special shout out this week to Deb and Brian and Peter. You guys rock. Our project is made possible by supporters like you, and we can't thank you enough. And if you want to know more about our project and get exclusive updates every week, join our crew on Patreon and help keep the journey alive. All right, let's get back to work and start sealing the wood. Now, this is a very, very exciting step for us, because this is the first time that we could see the true tonality of the wood come through. This part over here is just the roof, so this is going to be painted white, but we have other pieces that are going to remain in the veneer, which you can see here is really standing out. You can actually see all of that black wood grain popping through, and the wood is coming alive. For the longest time, we've been in a monotony of dull brown, and to see this richness and this color pop through is really, really exciting. However, it is a little bit shocking as well, because what we found out was the sealant, for some reason, makes the color oversaturated. So we did have a panic moment because this looks very red and very orange and very much not what we thought it was going to be. But we are trusting the process. Now, remember what I said about that sander? Here it is again. A sanding. So we have to take every single piece and sand it down. With the sanding, the color kind of flattened out a little bit, and that really makes you think, what is it going to look like in the end? Before we can get to the good stuff, we still need to prime the wood. And this moment was particularly exciting as well, because now we're seeing a layer of color on the wood, and it's really transforming all of these corners, making it almost look like it came out of a mold. And so all the time and care that we spent into creating these windows is now making everything look like one uniform piece, and you can no longer see all of that putty that I stuck on there. I know this is just the primer, but every single time he applied another coat, we just got more and more excited, because as you know, it's just been from sealing to the sole, just completely brown, and now you're kind of getting a good idea of how things are changing in our design. This white primer is the base coat for our paint, and for our varnish pieces, we're going to have a transparent primer to allow the wood grain to shine through. Now, the moment we have all been waiting for. What in the world colors did we choose? So here he is preparing everything, blowing it off, because remember, he sanded. And now he's applying the final coat for our varnished pieces. And can you see now the difference between the sealant and the colors now? Now, in the film, I know it's going to change from a variety of different colors. This one looks a little yellow, the other one looked a little red. Unfortunately, it's different cameras and different lightings, so it's going to be a little hard to tell what is the final piece. Also, fun fact, partway through our build, we did order a different round of plywood, and that came with a slightly different veneer. So we're really hoping that those colors pull together in the end and are not too radically different once they're in the boat. All right, so right now we are, I have this light in my face. Right now we are taping all of the edges, because as you can see, this is our beautiful door in the kitchen, and we have all these wonderful laminated edges, but we're gonna paint the back. So in order to paint the back, because it's a spray, we need to cover up all of these edges with tape. Fortunately, I just did my tape backwards, and there's a little edge there now, so I have to retape it. But the idea is to get a nice smooth taped edge, so when he sprays it, then the excess spray will not affect any of our veneer here around the edges or the other side. And we're going to take advantage of this moment to label everything, because there's a million pieces and we have no idea what anything is. All right, one down. And only all this to go. Easy, right? I don't even remember what all these things are. Remember when I said don't do this process? This is one of the main reasons why. We have hundreds of pieces all over the place that we have to put back together eventually. And the hilarious part is that we labeled everything, but you know, when you sand, paint, varnish, so our labels are all gone because they painted over them. Even the parts that you thought weren't going to be painted over, they just paint over them because it's a spray. So we have to go back, we have to memorize everything and go back and see if we can figure out what everything is. Here it is. We are painting our boat chocolate. No, I'm just kidding. This is actually a medium gray, and this is a color that we are painting all of the interiors of our cabinets. And it's looking a little chocolate in the film, but that's kind of nice as well. This is actually a micro texture paint, which has a really nice feel to the touch. And we went with this gray color to really reduce any visibility of dirt or marks within our cabinets. We could have easily gone with just plain white, but for the same amount of effort, we can get this really added value and make even the interior of our cabinets feel like they were really well thought of. And finally, for the interior of our boat, we are mixing up this very special white color. Now, it looks a little bit like white on TV, right? But it's actually this sandy gray. Now, we went with something that's not like stark white and went with a gray tone to it to really reduce the glare and how hard it can be on the eye, especially if there's a lot of sun coming in. So we wanted the brightness of white, but we didn't want really the harshness of a bright white. So we added this tonality just to take it down a notch, but also to give contrast to all of the wood that we have. Now, pau ferro is a very dark wood, especially in our small boat, and we really took a risk in order to have this classic look meeting a very modern design, and it is balanced out by this sandy gray white. Now, the contrast of the wood, the dark wood, and this nice white in the interior, we're hoping is going to make the wood pop and also give your eye a nice chance to rest and take refuge from all of the details that are happening within the boat. Hey guys, check it out. The guys are sanding the last piece and then boom, send it to paint and we're gonna be done. Check it out. This house used to be filled with our things, and now it is completely empty. But before we can call it a day, we have one more thing we have to do next. You want to guess what it is? We're getting out of here.